Good morning, South Rock. Welcome to another Incarnate Devo. Today is Isaiah 11, 1 through 10. And this is, again, I know every week or every day is about Jesus in Old Testament scripture, but I feel like Wednesday and today have been very, very clear in how it relates to Jesus. Maybe this one just for me because I went to Bible college and all that good stuff, but this is what it gets at. So it starts with, there shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse, and a branch from his roots shall bear fruit, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. So this is for anyone, just so you know, this is very clearly talking about Jesus because we even talked about this, I believe, that God promised David that his line would last forever, that there would be a reigning Davidic kingdom for eternity. And this was, David might not have been aware, but this was in reference to Jesus. Jesus comes from the line of David, both on his stepfather Joseph's side and also his mother's side and Mary. They both are descendants of David, King David. And so this is saying, Jesse being David's father, it's saying from this stump, from what we think there's no Davidic line anymore. Even if the line of actual human kings of Israel is cut off and there's a stump, from this stump of Jesse, there'll be a branch that bears fruit. And so this is Jesus. Jesus will come, the Spirit of the Lord is upon him, and he will be from the line of David. So again, and then it kind of goes into who Jesus will be and what he'll be like on earth. And I like that for the original readers, this was all future prophecy. For us, we're kind of sitting in the middle of it because the first part of this verse, or these verses, kind of talks about who Jesus is going to be. But then after that, the second kind of stanza of the prophecy poetry is all about what life will be like with Jesus. So it says, the wolf and the lamb will be together. The leopard will lie down with goats. Calf and lion together. A child will lead them. That's probably in reference to Jesus as well. But like a nursing child can play over the holes of cobras. There will be lions eating with oxes. There will be no hurt. There will be no destruction on this holy mountain, which is usually in reference to Jerusalem. And so this we can assume is New Jerusalem or the new heaven when we get to reside with Jesus for eternity. All that to say, this is talking about Jesus, both what it's going to be like when he comes, being a shoot from the stump of Jesse, but also what it's like when we're with him in eternity, where there will be no derision, there will be no division. It'll just be all of us getting to worship together in one place. And so this is a really hopeful prophecy. It's saying, there's always a king and he'll always reign and there will always be peace during his reign, which for these people would have been a big deal because there's always wars going on in this split kingdom of Isaiah. But for us, something that we should consider today is, how does this reflect how we ought to live? Because it's really hard in this year to live positively and live joyfully. But this is a section of scripture that is saying there's going to be such peace, such joy, such lack of tribulation when we are with Jesus. And so I think our actions and our lives ought to reflect that. So how can we better reflect that in our own lives? But kind of a sub-question on this, it should also really show us how we ought to live, knowing full well some of our neighbors won't get to experience this peace, won't get to experience this joy and this love. So how ought we live knowing that we get to experience it and others around us don't? What are some decisions we have to make? What are some actions and ways of life we ought to focus on, knowing full well these things are going to happen? So that's what I have. A little bit of a bleak Friday, but something to consider and something to be joyful about, but also look for those who also need a little joy in their life and joy in their eternity. So have a happy and good Friday.